Midnight on a suburban highway. A Tesla glides under sodium streetlights, cruise set, autopilot engaged. The driver, eyes quick, thumbs nervous, glances at the lane and then at the dashboard. The steering wheel twitches, the car veers, a horn blasts, the driver slams the brake. Tires scream. For a second, the world narrows to red brake lights and a cold mechanical calm. No one was hurt, but someone uploaded the dashcam footage and within hours it was everywhere. The car had followed a phantom lane and nearly crossed into oncoming traffic. This is not science fiction. It is the messy, public argument over whether software can hold the wheel of a life. Tesla's autopilot arrived as a promise, safer roads through cameras, radar, and machine learning. But every complex system has weak seams. Security researchers, not enemies, began probing those seams. In 2016, a team that would become famous, Keen Security Lab, demonstrated a remote compromise of a Tesla. They showed how chained software vulnerabilities, under narrow conditions, let them manipulate vehicle functions. Tesla patched quickly and the company celebrated its over-the-air update capability. But the demonstration had done its work. It proved an existential point. Cars are computers on wheels. Over the years, researchers discovered a different class of threat, not remote code chains, but adversarial perception. Neural networks see differently than humans. A few stickers on a road, a strip of tape across a speed sign, even split-second frames on a digital billboard could confuse a vision system. Ben Gurion University researchers and others showed how phantom images or subtle alterations could make autopilot systems brake, accelerate, or misread lanes without touching the car. Those experiments were small, controlled, academic, yet they revealed a trunk of unsettling possibilities. The environment itself could be weaponized. Automotive security evolved into a public contest. Ethical hackers staged proofs of concept. Companies pushed patches, regulators asked questions, journalists amplified the drama. Each demonstration had the same effect. A headline that read like an accusation. The system wasn't ready. But reality is rarely binary. Tesla's teams argued that autopilot required attentive drivers and that the demonstrated attacks were narrow, non-generalizable, or impractical in the wild. Researchers countered that narrow attacks are all attackers need. The hacks and tricks were never a single headline. They were a chorus. In 2019, researchers placed 3 innocuous stickers on the pavement and tricked an autopilot into swerving toward danger. In other tests, electrical tape across a speed sign fooled lane keeping or adaptive cruise. At conferences, demonstrations grew sharper. Phantom frames flashed on billboards and caused test cars to brake inexplicably. In late-stage security contests, researchers proved remote exploits in laboratory conditions, not to terrorize but to force a fix. The ripples were immediate. Regulators began asking for tighter reporting of automated driving incidents. Insurance companies recalculated risk. Car makers expanded bug bounties. Tesla and others hardened software, added redundant checks, and insisted drivers remain ready to intervene. Yet the conversation shifted from, "Can this be hacked?" to "Who bears responsibility when it is?" That question is human. Families want guarantees that a car's decision system won't misread a child at the curb. Engineers seek to balance innovation with fail-safe design. Legislators scramble to regulate an industry that updates its fleet by pushing code over the air. And the actors on stage remain mixed. Sincere academic curiosity, stealthy criminals, clumsy pranksters, and sometimes savvy states testing weaknesses. There is also a philosophical cost. We entrusted machines with tasks once bound to human judgment. When those machines fail, whether by design, accident, or malice, the fall is public and sharp. The Tesla case taught a blunt lesson. Digital sophistication does not erase fragility. The path forward isn't simple. Better sensors, layered verification, stricter testing, clearer liability laws. It also requires honesty about where autonomy stops and human responsibility begins. So did hackers break autopilot. Not in the sense of a single catastrophic takeover, but they did break the myth that autonomy equals invulnerability. They exposed a truth no marketing campaign could. Complex tools inherit human vulnerabilities. That exposure isn't a defeat, it's a chance to rebuild safer, smarter systems. The question now is whether industry, lawmakers, and the public will treat those lessons as warnings to be fixed or as inevitabilities to be accepted. What happens next on our roads and in our courts will decide whether this era of autonomy ends in triumph or tragedy.